My name is Christine Lindstrom, and today I want to tell you more about the best boondocking RV forums that we use to explore the country with our RV and stay in some amazing places. And you can too. Boondocking or dry camping means a place that you can stay, usually for free, without hookups. You are just self-contained on the land, usually on public lands. There's different ways to do it. We'll talk more about that as we go. But let's get started and dive right in to the best boondocking forums for RVing. First, I want to show you Campedium. This is one of my favorite resources. It is not boondocking specific, so you can find any kind of campground or RV park, different places to park your RV on this site. But this free camping tab that they have right here filters out all but the free locations. As you can see, it starts with some of the top locations in the country. Personally, we have stayed at Upper Teton View and also Nomad View. And they were absolutely incredible. We've found some really great places to boondock through Campedium. So if we kill the ads, this starts with an article that gives you more information about free camping and boondocking. If you've never done it before, I encourage you to read this because it's really helpful and informative, so that you know the basics before you head out there. When you continue scrolling down, you get to this list of states and provinces in Canada and Mexico to help you find where you want to go. Just for an example, I know Florida is really popular with RVers, especially in the winter, so let's look at Florida. I prefer to go straight to the map so you can see the locations a little bit more easily. That's the way that I prefer to search for places. And once you're in the map, you don't have to stay in Florida. You can drag the map to anywhere you want to go, and it will automatically populate with the locations that are available in those regions. So if we zoom in, just to give you an example, if we zoom in here on the coast near Jacksonville, you see a few different types of sites that are marked on the map. These purple parking symbols, those indicate that it's just a parking lot. You can see over here, those are Walmarts and Cracker Barrels and rest areas, places where it is allowed to park. If you just want to stop for the night, you don't want to pay for a campground and all the amenities. If you just need a place to sleep for the night, there's a lot of parking lots that work really well, and this resource can help you find them. If you want to stay a little bit longer, you want a home base to explore the area, you're looking for something that has this green symbol here that indicates public lands or parks. So this is in a national forest, this example. So that's one other kind of marking. And then this one right here indicates a dump station, which is really helpful when you are self-contained and boondocking. You will need to plan how and when you are going to empty those waste tanks. So those are the different kinds of symbols you find on the map. If we just click on this one as an example, we see all the vital information, both an address and GPS coordinates that can help you find it. You see pictures that other users have uploaded. You see there's an official website, which you should always check for more information. One of my favorite features of Campedium is where you can check cell phone coverage. So 2 users have reported that they had a little bit of a rise in there. We don't know anything about other carriers because other reviewers haven't left that information, but that will be available for most locations. And then you can read people's reviews. You can see when they reviewed it to see how old the review is. You can see what they think. Remember that these are user generated. So if there's sort of an outlier of information, you might disregard it. Somebody just had a bad experience. But if you see some consistent feedback saying the same thing, then you know that that's probably likely to be accurate. So Campedium is a great place to find free camping resources. Another site that I love is called freecampsites.net. This is the home page, so you can either click to zoom in on the map like that, or you can enter a location. We were looking at Florida. It will take us to Florida, and we can see what free campsites has listed. Many of the listings will overlap with Campendium, but not always. Sometimes one site will have one that another one doesn't. It's all about what users have chosen to upload to the site. If we zoom in, you can get a look at how their symbols work. Well, that doesn't seem to be working right now. They have this color-coded system here with green for free, red for pay, blue for permit, and yellow for research. And when it says research, that just means it recommends researching it yourself because they've either gotten mixed feedback or something has changed recently or things like that. So it seems to be not loading properly, but generally I really like this site. You can see, maybe if we give it a second, it'll load. Just last week, this site saved me from going to a boondocking spot that I have found on Campendium, but it did not list the need for a permit. And when I checked it on free campsites, I saw that it was blue for permit required. And when I called, all the permits were already full. And if we hadn't checked here, we would have shown up to a full campground and needed to scramble and find something new at the last minute. So there are, one of the disadvantages that I found for freecampsites.net is that it's not as popular to use it. We can click on one of these just to get an idea of what a review looks like, if it's going to load. There we go. So it has similar information to Campendium. You can find the website, you can find GPS coordinates. It also will have cellular availability listed, and then some of the reviews. Now, this location does have some more recent reviews. They're not a year old. Something that I find often with freecampsites.net is that because it's not as popular a site and it's not as commonly used, that sometimes the reviews can be a little bit outdated. So you always want to check the date on the review before you head to a location with that as your only information. Look for a minute at AllStays. This site used to be hugely popular, and it is getting less popular with RVers because of some changes that they made. So they also have a pro site that they are trying to sell, so they are not quite as user-friendly as they used to be. But if I click on camping from the AllStays, and let's say that I want to continue looking at Florida, so you can see I'd like to look at the map. AllStays has lots of filters. These are also, you can see there's a lot of listings because this is also not boondocking specific, but there's a lot of filters that can help you narrow it down. So if I just want a parking lot to stay in and I am interested in a truck stop where I can pull off easily, these are marked. You can see what kind of truck stop they are, if they're Love's or Pilot or Speedway, all of these different, or just other gas stations that are marked on the map. If I'm looking for a Walmart, I can filter that way. This lets you know not all Walmarts will allow overnight parking, and that is actually becoming more and more true. So check the red ones typically are not allowed. But if I go back to Florida and try to filter out to find some place that I can stay a little longer on some public lands. Sorry about that. We don't want Walmart, we want camping in Florida. So it's not the most user-friendly to go back and forth. If I want to look at public lands, which is where some of those great boondocking spots are going to be, it does distinguish state parks or county parks or forest areas, state and national forest. What it doesn't do is filter by price. So I don't know until I click on it whether this is a free site or not. So this one is not a free site. And that it just takes a little bit longer to try to find. If you get the pro version, you can filter it by price. But most of the things that are available on the pro version are available for free from other sites. It's just not really worth it. It also, the pro version doesn't sync with the map and with their apps, and they're only designed to be used. They say it right down here. It's only designed to be used on a computer, which just isn't feasible for most travelers. So AllStays is not one of my top recommendations anymore. It used to be great, but it's really losing popularity. Boondockers Welcome is a really unique forum that I want to highlight because this helps you connect with people who have private property that are willing to host RVers, usually from 1 to 3 nights. So this is not going to be a long-term base to explore an area, but you could stop for a night along your way. You can also, if the host agrees to it, you can stay 2 nights, which gives you a day to go to a specific attraction or see something specific in an area if that's what you're looking for. So Boondockers Welcome lets you search for hosts. This is a membership site that costs $50 a year for guests to be able to search. Let's tell it I want to go to Florida just to narrow it in. And zoom in even further. So you can see each of these, this symbol here just indicates that there's a host there. And the numbers mean you need to zoom in more to see them. So you can see there's hosts all over the place. I can click on a host and see a lot of information about it. Some of these are just driveways. Others have lots of property. It really varies a lot. But I can look at everything up until actually trying to request a night or 2 at the location that I would need to sign in as a member. And I have let my membership lapse to Boondockers Welcome temporarily, so I can't actually book it, but I can show you everything else. This one offers you electricity. Some do and some don't. This one does not have space for slide outs, so that's important to know, but they will let you set out a barbecue and a lawn chair and get some water and all of these different things. So every host is different and they set their own specifications, but it's just a really neat forum to be able to connect with people who would be willing to host you on their private property. And the last forum I want to share is called HarvestHosts. And this is another membership site that I have already logged into with my membership to show you around a little bit. Let's look at Florida. This allows you to browse on a map. Let's just drag the map there. That's probably faster. HarvestHost is also helps you find boondocking on private property, but these tend to be agricultural, like farms or wineries or breweries, and sometimes attractions such as museums and places like that will allow you to park for 1 night on their property, and you get to experience their place. Sometimes you can see the behind the scenes working of the farm. It really just depends. So let's tell it I want to look for wineries while I'm in Florida. I can tell it how big my rig is. I need space for up to 35 feet. And let's request that it's pet friendly. Sometimes farms won't let you bring pets just because of the risk to their animals. So I take my preferences off and I zoom in. I want to browse and see. That took me back to up there. These are not showing up. One of the great features is that you can search along a route. So if I tell it I want to go from Orlando to Tampa, it will, and I want to stay within 20 miles of my route. I thought so. It logged me out. There we go. Now we can see it. Show the region of, just browse and see where we are here. There we go. So you can see this symbol indicates breweries. These are attractions, or these are farms. These are attractions like museums. These are wineries. So you can stay for free as a member. If you contact the host and they have availability, you can stay for free on these properties. They do ask you to make a purchase to support the business, and that might mean buying something in a farm store, or if the winery has a restaurant, eating a meal while you're there. But it helps you support small business. It helps you find a place to stay along your travels, and it's just a really unique way to find boondocking spots. So those are some of my top choices for boondocking spots. My absolute favorite, as I said, is Campedium. And before I go any place that I found on Campedium, I will always follow up with just a check on free campsites to verify if I need a permit and to see what other reviewers have said. I want to be really sure before I show up someplace. And that has saved me on more than one occasion. But I really hope that this gives you a good introduction to the resources that are out there so that you can find boondocking spots and get out there and explore the country. Have a great day.